What's going on, beautiful people all around the world? It's your host, Donald M. Schuler Jr. here with the Royalty Connection Podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Royalty Connection Podcast, the Black History Month edition. If you're new to the Royalty Connection family, please do us all a favor. Leave a comment, a rating, a like, a love, all that type of stuff, and tell somebody that you found something encouraging. So with all that being said, I'd like to introduce our second Black History Month honoree, the Honorable Dr. W.E.B. Du Bois, coming up right now. W.E.B. Du Bois was a scholar and activist. He became the first African American to earn a Ph.D. from Harvard University in 1895. He wrote extensively and was best known for being a spokesperson for African American rights during the first half of the 20th century. Du Bois co-founded the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People in 1909, also known as the NAACP. Born William Edward Burgat Du Bois, better known as W.E.B. Du Bois, was born on February 23, 1868, in Great Barrington, Massachusetts. While growing up in a mostly white American town, Du Bois identified himself as mulatto, but freely attended school with white people and was enthusiastically supported in his academic studies by his white teachers. In 1885, he moved to Nashville, Tennessee, and attended Fisk University. It was there that he first encountered Jim Crow laws. For the first time, he began analyzing the deep troubles of American racism. After earning his bachelor's degree at Fisk, Du Bois entered Harvard University. He paid his way with money from summer jobs, scholarships, and loans from friends. After completing his master's degree, he was selected for a study abroad program at the University of Berlin. While a pupil in Germany, he studied with some of the most prominent social scientists of his day and was exposed to political perspectives that he touted for the remainder of his life. After graduating with his Ph.D. from Harvard in 1895, he went on to enroll as a doctoral student at Friedrich Wilhelm Universität, now known as Humboldt Universität. He would be awarded an honorary doctoral degree from Humboldt decades later in 1958. When it comes to writing and activism, Du Bois published his landmark study, the first case study of an African American community, The Philadelphia Negro, a social study, 1899, marking the beginning of his expansive writing career. Du Bois' perspective was considered harsh and brash among some of his constituents, including scholar and activist Booker T. Washington. While working as a professor at Atlanta University, Du Bois rose to national prominence when he publicly opposed Booker T. Washington's Atlanta Compromise, an agreement that asserted that vocational education for Black people was more valuable to them than social advantages like higher education or political office. Du Bois criticized Washington for not demanding full equality for African Americans, as granted by the 14th Amendment. Du Bois fought what he believed was an inferior strategy, subsequently becoming a spokesperson for full and equal rights in every realm of a person's life. In 1903, Du Bois published The Souls of Black Folks, a collection of 14 essays, which continued to change the landscape and mental perspective of African Americans. He adamantly opposed the idea of biological white superiority and vocally supported women's rights. In 1909, Du Bois co-founded the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, the NAACP, and served as an editor of its monthly magazine, The Crisis. After being born just a few years after slavery was abolished in America, Du Bois became a proponent and a propellant for change, making sure that African Americans understood that they were worthy of more. He became a proponent of Pan-Africanism and helped organize several Pan-African congresses to free African colonies from European powers. Dr. Du Bois died on August 27, 1963, one day before Martin Luther King Jr. delivered his famous I Have a Dream speech at the March on Washington at the age of 95 in Ghana, while working on an encyclopedia for the African diaspora. If you think about it, he died at home in the motherland, doing what he loved to do, educating and helping set people free. Thank you for your service, Dr. Du Bois. May your seeds of excellence grow tall for all the world to see. Thank you all so much for listening to this episode of the Royalty Connection, the Black History Month edition. I hope you learned something today, and it's something that you can pass on to others. Always remember to be a cashier so you can make and create change everywhere you go. I'm your host, Donald M. Schuler Jr., signing off until next time.